are gladly accepted. So now that we've had a chance to experience life on the wild side, it's time to enter the world of creativity and imagination, both of which are required to produce art. In our next profile, we return to Spokane to watch a master illustrator teaching the art of expression.
My name is Jack Rogers, and I've been in art most of my life. That's a handsome guy, isn't he? Wow.
Jack Rogers hands out infinite amounts of wisdom and knowledge to eager young minds ready to learn from this Seattle-born octogenarian. Working for the past 50-odd years in the art world as a college instructor at Spokane Falls Community College and an illustrator in the Spokane market, Jack uses his extensive knowledge in art as a tool that most often enlightens.
The most important thing in art is creativity. There's no question about that. There's not two people that draw or portray in the same way. And if you can be involved in that and tell a story, if you can have your viewer react to what you say, then I think that's the key. And whether you're doing an advertisement or whether you're doing a painting, it's all the same thing.
At the age of 19 and culminating with a 3-year stint as an Army staff sergeant during World War II in the Pacific, Jack used the time in service for his country as a building block for his future in the art world.
Life was different back then. I grew up in the Depression. It was not easy, but we were different in that period, that the whole country was patriotic. And I don't see that anymore. And most of my friends, when we graduated, we went directly into the military. We were just a bunch of kids dressed up like soldiers, but you grow rapidly because you have to. And if you are under fire, you begin to realize this. By the time I'd spent 3 years in the service, I was ready to take on something new, you see. And coming home, I met my wife by chance, and we were married shortly after that. And you just say, okay, world, here I am. And you go to it and you do it.
After graduating from Cornish College in Seattle and a stint at a local advertising agency in the Chronicle building in Spokane, Jack, quite by accident, began doing illustrations in an area he knew little about.
A man that was working with me said, Bernard's need a new artist. The person that was there left town. And he went over and came back to my studio, and he said, they want to see some layouts. And then he was muttering to himself, and he said, I can't draw women. And so he said, well, you do a drawing for me. So he took it over to them and came back in about an hour and says, we got the account. Well, I don't know anything about women's fashions, really. Fortunately, my wife could tell me how it was done. Well, to some degree, illustration has changed so drastically. In the 50s and 60s, illustrators were king, and Norman Rockwell was a good example because he really illustrated America. I don't see that today. The illustrations today will sell some item or objects, and it's a flash this or somebody grinning at you and so forth, but it doesn't have that depth that illustrators created, and it makes sense because now we're in an electronic world, you know, and photography can be beautiful, but it's used in a different way. There's not a day goes by I don't draw. Well, I tell the students you have to spend at least 15 minutes a day with that pen, not a pencil, because every line you put down has to describe, and there's no way to erase it. And pretty soon they come around to this.
Today, Jack spends his time giving back in the form of teaching others, be it second graders or seniors, skills that he acquired through his many years of work in the art world, with nary a thought of retirement.
I have an experience because of my time in this. There are rewards for everything we do. I think we have to think that way. In teaching school, My reward is to see the student accomplishing something. It's the reward of having done something from within. If you can feel it, you can draw it. Who else has one ready? That's what I try to instill in the students here, is here's an opportunity for you to express, and then it's an opportunity for you to create. Using your imagination, you can build something. And what your future is, we don't know. But if you can use these thoughts, the ideas, and be able to apply them, it doesn't matter. And that's where art enters into this. It becomes the catalyst to what you do. You can write a term paper and it could be the dullest thing in the world, you see. But you could illustrate it and, oh yeah, I see what you're saying. If you can imagine, you can do anything. You can apply it to any future.
It's always a joy to find someone who loves what they do so much that they want to share it with others. In the case of Jack Rogers, his vision will live on in those he teaches, inspiring his students to become teachers too.